we had this discussion of who else is in this class. We're going with this, as you can see from the intro, is we're going to have another discussion on here's how art might actually help me, question mark, exclamation mark. I do precede that with a little bit of a talk. Now, what I want you to do next is, now that you kind of know each other and can go back and see each other's name and put a name and a face together, I noticed that a lot of you had already kind of started on this discussion, like, oh, I want to be a teacher, or oh, I want to go into this field. And you were kind of finding who is having the same interest as you, or who is going into the same field as you. So this next discussion is not really new. It's more of an extension of the old discussion, okay? And so what I want to do on this next discussion, it's like continuing a discussion so that we feel like we got a flow going on the back talk in this class, especially when I'm not around. You guys can talk to each other more. On this next discussion, I want you to kind of take out the more personal interest, travel, hunting, being outdoors, your dog. Take that out and really focus on your career itself. And when you're focusing on your career, I'd like for you to go ahead and Google things like creativity and education, or visual literacy and education, if you want to be a teacher, or creativity and nursing, and take those three main ideas: creativity, visual literacy, xenophilia, or understanding other cultures. And I'd like for you to do what we're going to be calling a deep dive into it in this class, and that is go into it a little more. You're going to spend an awful lot of time, energy, and money on this future career. And sometimes it's surprising how you kind of are so busy with what's right in front of you that you forget your end goal. And so I have a talk, kind of a paper on pointing you there. This discussion would be for you guys to bounce ideas off of each other before you write your first one-page paper. And then you see here, you've got a reflective essay. I'm going to go ahead and go to that essay. It's not due for another week, but let's go to it. I think in this case, it might be helpful to read the essay and then go the essay requirements and then go back to the discussion. When I ask you to write for this class, I am not an English professor. I expect your sentences to make sense. I expect you to use, decent language, not nice language. I mean, like essay-like language. But this is art appreciation, so it's kind of a reflection. You don't have to use MLA. You don't have to, I'm not an English professor. I'm not going to sit there and do grammatical corrections. Although if your grammar gets in the way of me understanding it, that's a problem. But that's not the focus. What I want you to do is write in your real voice about this. And so you can see here that I'm kind of guiding you through that. And you can read on your own. I'm going to scroll to the bottom. I have this rubric. And in this class, I think that reflections and personal opinions, it's hard to put a rubric on it. But sometimes I'm going to ask you to think more critically. And I wanted to point out that this rubric is something that RBC has adopted as part of its college-wide goals for accreditation. That is, when your credits transfer to another institute. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm speaking to the wrong camera. Hello. When your credits transfer to another institution, and they ask you to write an essay, like an entrance essay or an essay about why you should be accepted into a program. They don't tell you, but this is how they evaluate your essay. This is the actual rubric that almost all colleges use for when you write an entrance essay or an essay for a scholarship. And they're evaluating you, but you might think, well, how do they grade my essay against another? If my GPA is the same as someone else's, what gets them in but not me? And so I think it's weird that they don't give you this rubric that they're actually using behind the scenes. And so I post it here because I'd like for you to get familiar with it. For this first assignment, I'm not going to stick to it so carefully that you have to sweat it. I just want this to be in the back of your head so that it's like, well, what would make a good reflective essay? This would. So when you see you're just getting comfortable. So please feel comfortable when you write this, but check it out. This is where we're ending up on this next discussion, okay? So it's right there in the modules. It won't be due until February 8th, but if you get it done sooner, you got it checked off your list. So what will happen as I scroll down here is that in the discussion first, who else is in this class, we'll kind of get to know each other and find people that have similar interest. Then I want you to read the why do I have to take art appreciation, then do a discussion. And I'm hoping that if you guys discuss this with each other and you get points for it and respond to each other, it'll actually make it faster to write that essay. Because if 3 of you are going to go into education and 2 of you are going to go into healthcare, you can kind of bounce ideas with each other and solve some of the problems. So if you get into a discussion with somebody who's going into healthcare and you found a really good link when you did your online research, it cuts the work in half because you're sharing it with somebody. How are we doing so far? I want you to unmute and go, Miss Delano, can you tell me blah, 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 if you need help. Tell you what, next class, I will start at the top of class saying, any questions from last class? Next class, when we meet, you would still have time to do the reflective paper. Okay, so, and I'll ask at the end of class too. Now that I've gone over that, before I start on something new, did anybody have any problems posting or questions about what we've done so far, help you need? Because if you need help, somebody else does. Anybody? Waiting for you. Okay.
I have a question.
Hey, Sharnay.
Hey, under
What's
which
up?
post were we reply to comments under both of them?
Yeah, what happens on that is I just want you to reply to 3 people for full points. If you just post, you'll get points, but you reply to 3 people. And on this first discussion, it can just be like, hey, I like the picture you used, or hey, I live in Dinwiddie too. It can be real casual this time. You know, if we were in real class, you might hang out before class or after class. And if you actually put down your phone and weren't on your phone, you might actually talk to somebody. So Sharnay, this first discussion is just respond to people. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Did
Thank
I
you.
answer the question like you wanted? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I know that people would like to have an interactive class, and people act like they're deer in headlights, frozen and afraid. Thing on a Zoom, break down that habit a bit. So, okay, email me if you have any more questions. For this next part, we're going to jump into visual literacy and look at art today. And for this next part, you will either need a pen and paper or to open up a document or a text on your computer. Okay, so you're going to have to write some stuff real quickly, and it won't be a big deal. So that'll work. Ready? This morning, I just posted this first and last image. And remember, we were talking about visual literacy. Okay, I have here a picture. Let me see if I can make it littler. Yeah. Okay, see that picture? Now, this picture we're going to look at today and write our impressions. And this is going to be your final. You're going to write about this for your final. Now, the bean counters say I have to give you a final that captures everything that we've talked about the semester. And I really honestly think it's kind of stupid to get a 150 question exam on everything that we've learned that you just cram for at the last minute, stress over, and forget immediately. And so the way I do this is I say, on the first day we looked at this and got our first impression. I'm going to ask you your first impressions of this on the first day. You need to post it, but you don't get any points. And I won't look at what you post, I promise, because I don't want to get depressed. However, on the last week of class, we're going to open up the file of what you posted on what you saw the first day. And we're going to compare what you saw on the first day and what you were able to say about this painting with what you were able to say on the last day about this painting. So if you can't say much on the first day, it's great. If you screw, yes.
I just wanted to let you know that it's kind of hard to follow you right now because your internet keeps cutting in and out and you keep freezing.
Hold on. Thank you. I am on my iPhone. Is it the video or the voice?
Both.
Okay.
And it's also happening to other people as well because we were talking about it in the chat.
Okay, because I can't talk and do chat at the same time. Let me think. Hold on. I'm double checking. Thank you for letting me know. And yeah, stopping me. I hate it when this does it on the first day. Yeah, I'm looking at my phone now to see I'm running it off my hotspot.
It seems to be doing okay now. It's just like every so often you'll be in the middle of a sentence and it'll like freeze for like about a little while and then it'll like cut back in.
It's glitching. Right. And that's you, Emily, right?
Yeah.
So Emily, if it glitches and I'm in the middle of something, will you turn on your mic and go or woohoo or make a noise?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Should I review what I just said?
Yes.
Look, so here's, okay.
Yeah, just really quickly.
Okay, this is going to be our final exam. And what I want to do is get a benchmark writing. What did you see on the first day versus what did you see on the last day? And instead of giving you a comprehensive final exam with a lot of questions on it that you will cram for and forget, what I want to do is have you post your impressions on the first day about this painting, not look at it. I won't, but you have to post it. And then we'll open it on the last week of classes and compare what you can say about this painting on the last day to what you said about it on the first day, which means if you can't say much about it now, you're doing really great because then it'll look better at the end. So what I'd like for you to do is think about visual literacy. Visual literacy is like text literacy. If I can't read words, they look like squiggles and junk on the page. If I can kind of read, I can kind of make out some of the words. If I'm literate, then I can really tell you what the words mean. Well, I wonder if on this painting, whether you have visual literacy or maybe not right at first. So what I want you to do is write down what you see and see if you can make out anything, make out any of the images. Now, if it's just a jumble and a mess and confusion, write that down. It can be bulleted. It can be just a few words. You know, if you can write a lot, great. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes right now while I take roll and check my internet to write down your first impressions, whatever they are. Honestly, I don't want you to look anything up. I don't want to give you time. Just write it down, shoot from the hip, tell me what you see. Got it? Now you can either, this isn't a signed post, you can either type it in to submit it or write it on paper and then just type it up real quick after class and post it. Are we good? Emily, did that make sense? Did it come through?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do it and I'll take roll.
You said we're typing this up in the discussions?
Did I put it up as a assigned post yet or not?
It says that it's locked until 5 p.m.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just type it up and I'll open up the assignment in a minute. Let me get my internet. I will open it up as an assignment right after class. Good?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Canvas upgrade sucks, to be honest. It drives me crazy. Shouldn't use that word, but it's true. I'm going to help you in a minute. But I want you to feel uncomfortable for a little bit. It's fun watching it. I'm so pleased everybody's here today. All right.
Okay, I figured it out how to
Would-
do it so that it's like unlocked if you want me to share.
Would you please share?
So if you go to your Canvas page and go to assignments, it has upcoming assignments. You click on assignments first and last image, and then it's going to be scary. It's okay. Click submit assignment. And then you can go down and click the text box entry, and you can type it in there and submit it.
And I'll tell you what, while people are, I will right after class unlock it to another time. Canvas has gotten really weird on overwriting dates, and I don't always know that for you guys. Before you do that, let me help you a little bit. Or as you do that, let me help you a little bit. Okay. So on this, when you look, did anybody see the rainbow? Okay, there's a rainbow.
Oh, I saw.
And
Oh, I see.
there's a sun. So you probably saw the sun. Now, can anybody see the horse?
No, but I see the chickens.
People call those chickens. Are those the things in the middle?
Yeah, and then there's like one with like a broken neck. Like,
Yeah. You know what, Emily, it's funny. A lot of people over the, course of semesters have seen chickens there in the middle. And I'm not saying yes or no that they're chickens, but it's funny that you see chickens, right? The horse, if you can see my cursor, it's right above the rainbow. And there's these lines above the rainbow. And this is a horse that's rearing up. At the top of the black and white lines above the rainbow, you see the muzzle of the horse. And then you see its four legs, its front legs, and the legs are pawing in midair. And as you come down towards the blue blob thing, those up and down diagonal lines are the horse's legs stomping. And where the lines go to the right, towards the lines that are dividing the picture, I have to use not art words, where these are going to the right, that's the tail of the horse. So this is some kind of crazy horse that's rearing up and stomping its legs, but it's just kind of the idea of a horse, not a real horse. At the bottom of your paper, I would like for you to write, I saw the rainbow without any help, or I didn't even see the rainbow. And then I would like for you to say, I saw the sun without any help. It's below the rainbow. And there's another one in the upper right-hand corner. I saw the sun without any help, or right, I didn't even see the sun. And then the third thing would be, I saw the horse. I never saw the horse. I saw the horse once you pointed it out. Even though you pointed it out, I still don't see the horse. So you can just write either way. Alana, you're one of the faces I'm enjoying looking at because you're really looking, and it's like if you had a little thought bubble, there'd be like a question mark, right? Am I right? Yeah, it was really cute seeing that, just to let you know.
Does anybody else see this horse?
Yeah, I don't see
Nope.
the horse.
Because I don't see like I see what could possibly be like a pointy head of a horse,
I don't
but
see it at all.
like that's about it.
Good. I'm really glad that you can say in this class to the professor, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't see it at all. Okay. How about if I help with this? This is a setup because this is a really hard painting. And of course, I don't expect you to see everything. So if you can see a horse by the end of the semester, we're really doing good. But Emily, you saw chickens, which is probably far more than anybody else saw. So let me help you out here. Go ahead, Emily.
So it was really interesting. So like, can I analyze the piece for a second?
Just for a second, yeah, because I want to move on, but I think
You pause.
it might help out. Go for it.
Okay, so like I got like, since I saw the chickens, I saw like a horse, or I mean like a farm theme. So then there's like with the blue blob, there's like this little building-esque figure.
Right.
It looks like reminded me of like a barn. And I thought that was really cool.
Right.
And I also see like these mountains. So like I got like a farm-esque theme. I just thought it was cool.
You know, although those are not chickens, there's something else. There is a building on top of the hill. And you're right, it's a landscape, there's mountains, and it looks like there's kind of a treacherous journey going up and down mountains. And it looks like things are really confusing and uncertain. And like I would say today in our country, things are confusing and uncertain, and that we have a lot of ups and downs in our country. And this was painted in Russia at a time when things were really, really starting to fall apart. And the country was divided. There's a king and queen on top of the mountain to the right. And if you think of kings being dressed in purple, you can see that this guy kind of has a crown on his head. Like it's a weird outline, smushy purple. So there's a king and queen off to the right. There's a house on a hill. There's a horse. Let me show you. So Emily, you're right on. And if you write that kind of stuff, and then some of you guys, you can steal from Emily and go, oh, I saw a mountain. But it might be good to say I saw